Today, I wanted to pop on here live for a quick surprise live event Sunday morning. I'm just about to head out to the barn, but I wanted to talk to you guys quickly about evasions and about half halts. So, if you haven't yet heard, I have a workshop on evasions and I also have a workshop on half halts. So, check out the description below. Those two workshops are for sale this weekend, celebrating Halloween. So you have until Monday night to sign up for the Evasions workshop or for the workshop on half halts. But the reason I wanted to come on here today is to talk to you guys a little bit about this topic of evasions and about half halts because they're a little bit misnomers, both of them. So first of all, talking about evasions. And I don't particularly love the word evasion because I really truly believe that horses are very willing and kind creatures and they're not naturally evasive. And sometimes when we hear the word evasions, it gives this impression like our horse is bad or our horse is mean. And I know I posted something on social about the evasions workshop and someone was like, my horse is an angel and he never is evasive. But evasions are more about the fact that dressage is hard for your horse physically. And so all horses have evasions. In the evasions workshop, we cover the three main evasions. The first one is speed or tempo. So horses will either rush and get tense and want to get too fast, or they'll want to slow down. That's the first evasion. The second evasion is that horses will either come above the contact or curl behind the contact. And then the third evasion is straightness. So horses will all either want to drift to the left or they'll want to drift to the right. And so this isn't about your horse being bad or naughty or disobedient. It's about the fact that when we ask our horses to do difficult dressage movements, like when we ask them to collect or to do a transition or to do a leg yield, and it's hard for them, they find little ways to make it easier. So, okay, we have people live here. If you're watching here live, let me know in the chat what your horse's biggest evasion is. Do they speed up? Do they slow down? Do they go crooked? Do they come above the bit? Do they curl behind the bit? Go ahead and let me know in the chat what you found kind of to be your horse's biggest evasion. And again, it's just like when you're at the gym and you're doing exercises and you start to get fatigued or tired, your form goes a little bit bad. So maybe you don't go as low in your squats, or maybe you lean a little bit to the side. And that's not because you're being evasive, that's because things get hard. And so you're compensating or you're finding ways to make it easier. So when you hear the word evasion in dressage, that's part of what they mean. Now, the other side of evasions, let me see you guys in the chat. Sue says all of the above. So yeah, most horses will do all of the evasions. Sometimes they'll speed up, sometimes they'll slow down, sometimes they'll go crooked. Mara says her horse drifts to the right. Christine says her horse barrels through the flying changes. So these are all like one part of evasions. Now, what happens is that if you don't pay attention to these small things, then you have much, much bigger problems. So the reason that it's important to regulate your horse's speed and to be in charge of how fast they're going, the reason that it's important that you're not letting your horse drift way to the side and that you're in control of your horse's direction, the reason that it's important that you can get your horse round is for control. And when you're not in control, then these small evasions become much, much bigger. And that's when you have a horse that's bolting or bucking or that's completely out of control. And one thing that I've noticed from watching tons of your guys' videos is that sometimes you're not particular about these little things and you don't give your horse enough direction and enough of a plan of, here's exactly where we're going, here's the speed we're going, here's the frame I want you to be in. And when you're not in control of these little things, then your horse thinks they're in control and they come up with bigger things. So if you haven't yet, sign up for the Evasions workshop. It's just $49. There's like a lecture, like an hour-long lecture all about these different types of evasions, and then there's specific exercises to help you with each of them. So to help you with speed control, to help you with curling or inverting, and then also to help you with what's the third one? I'm missing it. Straightness. So if your horse goes crooked to one side or the other. I'm about to go to the barn and ride with Yo Hinneman. He's up here and I got to ride with him yesterday. I got 4 lessons, which was so awesome. But guess what we worked on is all these little evasions. And sometimes when you ride alone, I haven't been having nearly enough lessons lately. And you don't realize, like, I don't realize, oh, my horse is too hollow and bringing their head up. And the problem with when they come too high in the frame is their back drops. And so, he was telling me, Harvey needs to be rounder there, make him deeper, make him drop his neck. And then the straightness too. Sometimes straightness, you can't always feel it. So it's really, really helpful to have a coach there to help you to see that straightness. So I hope that helps you guys understand what evasions are. If you haven't yet, check out the workshop. Now moving on to half-halts. So those are the 2 workshops that are available this weekend are evasions and half-halts. You can pick and choose whichever one you want. Again, half-halts is a big misnomer because when you hear the word half-halt, our brain thinks halt. But the reality of it is that there's really nothing about halting that you want to be doing when you're thinking about when someone tells you half halt. So half halts are really about rebalancing your horse, getting the hind end more engaged, and getting your horse's attention. So that's what the half halt workshop is all about. Again, there's a 60-minute lecture that I do, and then there's several different exercises. Now, the tricky thing about half halts is that every horse is a little bit different. So if you're riding a half halt on a green or a young horse, it's a very different thing than when you're riding a half halt on a Grand Prix horse. And similarly, when you have a horse that's a little bit on the lazier side, your half halt is very different than if you have a horse that's on the hotter side. And I think that's why half halts are a really difficult and kind of mysterious concept, is because they require a lot of feel. And feel means that you have to really be in tune with your horse. You have to be in tune with what your horse needs, how your horse is feeling in that moment, how distracted your horse is, how out of balance your horse is, how fast you're going, what transition you have coming up. And so we really cover all of that also in the Half-Halts workshop. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Halloween. I hope to see you in one of the workshops. It's a great way to just kind of get a boost on either one of these topics and to get a little bit familiar with some of the courses, some of the products that I have, which I hope you guys are all very much enjoying. I'm going to go to the barn. Yo Hinneman is here, and so I get to ride my horses with him. And Hinneman is an amazing trainer, an amazing person. I got to go to dinner with him last night, and one thing that I love about being around him is just his honest passion for horses. Like, he loves riding, he loves training, he loves seeing the horses develop. We were talking about vacation, and he was like, "What is vacation?" I don't think as horse people, when you get to be with your horse and when you get to ride and that's your passion, at least for me, I hardly ever want to leave. I don't want to go on vacation because I love being here and I love training and I love riding with my horses. The other thing we were talking about is just humbleness. And I think that that's something that's really important that you always preserve in your training and in your riding, is that you are always learning from the horses and from other riders and from instructors. And it's super important to maintain that attitude of humbleness and learning, and to know that there's a lot of ups and downs, and sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, and you just kind of have to keep your passion for the training and for the learning. So, anyways, I'm going to head off to the barn and get ready for my lessons. I'll hopefully share with you guys some clips from my lessons. And be sure to check out those workshops if you're interested. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend and a happy Halloween. Maybe you're dressing up with your horse. I'm not very good at costumes. So I hope you guys post some good Halloween photos.